the silence of God. And I know that a lot of us here might have an understanding of what I'm talking about. The kind where you read clearly, specifically, boldly, and nothing moved. The kind, like I used to tell some of my sisters, I say the kind that you're sure that you've done all that you can and can all that you have to. Yes, there seems to be this silence. Nothing seems to move. The kind where you fasted, you quoted scriptures, you believed. And let's just say heaven didn't respond like you expected. The truth is, nobody prepares you for that silence. Nobody. I'm not leaving you out of it. The truth, you are here with me, so you understand very well when I mean this is from your experience. Nobody prepares us for that kind of silence. Most times you might not know what to do when the God you trust feels distant. Tonight, we're talking about divine silence, not doubt. We're not playing guesswork. No, not doubt that silence that is so divine. Not doubt, no rebellion, not sin. You know, at times you wonder, is it one or two things I might have done that would have cost it? No, none of that. I repeat, the divine silence, not doubt, not rebellion, not sin. You can't even understand because there is no chaos. Silence, total silence. This is holy, God's human. And today I want us to talk about something a bit tricky. I'm Shomalina, and I will be back shortly after this. Yes. Now let's really get to it. We celebrate miracles. We testify about breakthroughs. We preach about answered prayers. But we rarely talk about the long, unedited stretch between the promise and the manifestation. We don't talk about the space where nothing is visibly happening. And yet, that space is where most of us are living. That space is where most of life is lived. Some of you are in that space right now. Some of you are in that space right now. Some might have been there before, so you would have a good understanding or a good grasp of what it is I'm talking about. The space where it feels as if nothing is happening. And you can't seem to find what you did wrong. You are not faithless. I tell you, my friend, you're not faithless. You're just waiting. You are just waiting. And yes, waiting can be very exhausting. We've been actually subtly decided to believe that God's activity equals visible results. Most of the time you go to our religious houses and we're being taught that, yeah, in ways that do not look like movement. What silence is not absence? What if silence is construction? The problem isn't that God is silent. The problem is that we equate silence with abandonment. And that assumption slowly corrodes trust. I can say this for fact because I've been there. That assumption slowly erodes trust. Your trust in God, your faith in God. Most of us think faith is is when you already say it. No, that's not how it works. Even in that silence, that's where your faith, even in that silence, that's where your faith becomes manifest. Now let's talk honestly about what it does to human heart. One, I know that waiting exposes some certain things. Waiting exposes control issues. Some people have control issues. Waiting exposes fear. Waiting exposes attachments. Waiting exposes impatience. Waiting exposes your identity, who you are. Waiting exposes dependency. When God answers immediately, we feel powerful. When God delays, we feel vulnerable. And vulnerability can feel like instability. But waiting is not instability. Waiting is revelation. Waiting reveals what you've attached your hope to. It reveals whether your faith is transactional or relational. Transactional faith says, if I pray correctly, God performs. Like some of us actually think God as a magician. If I pray correctly, God performs. However, relational faith says, even if the outcome shifts, I remain. And this is actually even true when you have a human relationship. A man wants to be with a woman that despite all odds, she's there. A woman wants to be with a man who despite all odds, he's there. And that's harder, much, much harder. Because relational faith requires trust without timeline guarantee. That kind of trust feels risky. That kind of trust me, it feels risky. Now let's remove the shame from this conversation. Divine silence is not a modern crisis. It is deeply woven into scripture. There were actually centuries between prophetic voices. Centuries, some things that were said in the Holy Book were manifested centuries after. A lot of people, many years ago, we didn't have plane. So there were centuries between prophetic voices. There were decades between promises and fulfillment. There were nights of weeping before mornings of joy. And none of it meant God had withdrawn. It meant something was being formed. Spiritual maturity is not built in constant affirmation. It is built in sustained trust. The wilderness season in scripture were not punishment zones. They were formation environments. But wilderness feels like abandonment when you expect constant clarity. And that's where many people quietly unravel. You know, I did mention that in a lot of times, a woman and man relationship, a man feels, oh, I want this woman to know whether she's faithful, to me. I want to know whether she would choose me despite all odds. And so the same faith, even in the silence, you still remain. Now, I want us to understand what triggers doubt. Let's name the real fears. When God feels silent, doubt gets loud. When God feels silent, doubt gets loud. We begin to question. Did I miss him? Did I disobey? Did I pray wrong? Am I being punished? Did I imagine the promise? And sometimes the deeper question is he even there? Doubt is not always rebellion. Sometimes doubt is grief. Grief over expectations that are unmet. Grief over timelines delayed. Grief over outcomes that look different from what you imagine. Faith is not the absence of doubt. Faith is what you choose while doubt is present. I repeat, faith is what you choose while doubt is present. If you've ever whispered, God, where are you? You're not broken. You are human. Some of the things that go through your mind does not make you inhuman. It does not make you unholy. It just shows your reveals our humanity. Let's redesign this. Let's understand what silence is really doing in the inside of us. Let's reframe this. Silence is not passive. Silence is not passive. Again, I say this with every confidence. Silence is not passive. Silence is surgical. When God feels quiet, several things are often happening that needs the surface. One, your motives are being purified. Your dependency is recalibrated. Your identity is being separated from outcomes. Your resilience is being strengthened. Your faith is moving from emotional to anchored. We prefer visible progress. Yeah, every one of us like what you can touch, right? We prefer visible progress. But God often works invisibly first. Why? Every root grows downward. Every building you're seeing has a foundation that is unseen. Muscle forms through resistance. That's why you see some babies, their body is fragile. Muscles, because they've not experienced any tension. But the muscle becomes stronger through resistance. Go ask the people that gym. Depth is carved through pressure. And if God answered every prayer instantly, we would trust the results more than relationship. Silence forces relationship. Because when nothing changes externally, the only thing left is communion. And communion feels different when it's not tied to a request list. It's different when someone just want to be with you for you, not because of what is on the table or what they can offer. That's when the depth of communion is measured. Now I would really appreciate that we get practical. If you are in a season where God feels silence, here are anchors. Some anchors I would like to put out. Separate God's character from your circumstances. They're not the same. Separate God's character from your circumstances. That's one. Your situation may be unstable. God's nature is not. God is constant. Silence does not rewrite God's character. Number two, keep small disciplines alive. When emotions fluctuate, consistency protects you. Pray even when it feels quiet. Journal honestly. Stay connected to community, not as performance, but as a rhythm. Number three, resist impulsive decisions born from discomfort. You get a bit uncomfortable, you want to check out. Waiting tempts you to manufacture movements. Don't sabotage long-term peace for short-term relief. Number four, talk about it. And thank God we are here. Talk about it. Silence about divine silence creates spiritual isolation. Silence about divine silence creates spiritual isolation. You are allowed to say, I don't understand this season. Nobody will crucify you for that. That honesty doesn't offend God. It deepens intimacy. As I attempt to wrap up, if you are watching this right now and you're in your waiting season, I would like that you type this, still trusting. You might not understand. Your heart might be telling you, are you sure that's what you're doing? You will type it, keep saying it, and you discover you're practicing it, not because it's easy, but because you're choosing not to let silence define the story. You're choosing not to let silence define the story. There is strength in staying. There is maturity in not rushing. There is beauty in trust that isn't loud. I'm in that journey, so I can tell you for free. I'm experiencing that right now, so I'm inviting you to journey with me. Beloved, my friend, you're not forgotten. Not at all. You're not overlooked. And sure, I want you to know you're not spiritually defective because heaven feels quiet. Silence is not rejection. Silence is not punishment. Sometimes silence is a sacred space where your faith grows roots. You don't need constant signs to remain loved. You don't need constant signs to remain loved. You don't need constant answers to remain held. You are always held. You don't need constant clarity to remain called. If God feels quiet, I mean really quiet now, stay. I'm staying. Stay in prayer with me. Stay in community. Stay in a hope. Stay open. You know why someone might ask me, why should I stay? I'll tell you. Because the same God who speaks in thunder also works in whispers. Sometimes that quietness, being quiet, is not absence. It's preparation. This is a holy God's human. And I am Shamalina. And until next time, we keep learning how to trust even here. Please, I would like so much that you subscribe to this YouTube channel if this has reached out to your heart. And if you think there's someone that needs it, please do send it to the person. And yes, you can send us a message by email, purechomalina@gmail.com, purechomalina@gmail.com, and we will respond promptly. Yes, I have to do it in an environment like this, so we understand that it doesn't matter where you are, God is still there reaching out to you. Again, this is holy but human, and you're not in the wrong space. I will see you on Monday by 12 p.m. We'll be having the bold angle. Keep it locked, and I'll see you again. God bless you. And yes, don't ever think for a moment or forget that I love you so much. There is nothing you can do about it.